Good evening, class. My name is Joe DeVault, and this is my CSE8316 semester project presentation. It covers the PerkinElmer shopping cart redesign project. Here's the agenda for my presentation. I'll do a quick intro of myself and PerkinElmer. I'll get into the background and context for this project. I'll cover the business objectives and usability goals. I'll outline my solution strategy, all three phases, and then we'll finish up with final analysis, conclusions, and follow-up. Starting with an introduction of myself, my name is Joe DeVault. I actually grew up in Dallas. I now live in Phoenix, Arizona, which is why I'm coming to you via video. I'm in the Software Engineering Master's program at SMU. After this semester, I'll have 3 classes left. I work at PerkinElmer and have since 2001. When I got started at PerkinElmer back in 2001, I was actually a systems engineer, not a developer, but I've spent the last 10, 12 years, maybe somewhere between 10 and 12 years, doing exclusively software development and application development. Most of that time has been .NET, but in the past 2-3 years, we've been doing more and more Java. We do JavaScript, we also do mobile apps, and we get into iOS and Android. So I am also one of the expert reviewers on the project. Getting into the introduction and background, PerkinElmer is a multi-billion-dollar Fortune 500 high-tech manufacturing company. As the bullet point says, we help scientists and lab professionals accelerate their science through detection, diagnostics, and informatics. If any of you have watched Forensic Files for any length of time, you'll see PerkinElmer equipment on there. We make equipment that, again, will shoot light at a substance and then check the measurements that come back from the light, or work with radioactive materials like reagents. Again, it all gets into detection and diagnostics, and then we have a new part of the company which does informatics. So, of that entire portfolio, PerkinElmer doesn't offer. About half of that catalog is available on the web. Small instruments, some reagents, and consumables are all offered through that channel. Staying with the background and introduction, the shopping cart that is there at PerkinElmer today has fundamentally not changed in 15 years since its inception. It's been reskinned multiple times, but the workflow, the basic functionality of adding to cart, using a credit card, going to the submit order page, that fundamentally hasn't changed. And really the look and feel, the type of constructs, the site itself, even though it's been reskinned, still looks like a site that's not that easy to use. So, and you'll see that reflected in the usability and user surveys. The numbers in the actual ease of use, sense of control, those numbers were lower than the actual functionality of the website. So that being said, there's a high priority at PerkinElmer to increase this channel and to help scientists and lab folks that work in the lab help them use the site more. So because today one of the feedback we get from our users is that the reason they use the site is just because it's easier than calling customer care, and we want to do a little bit better than that. So as far as business objectives, when I first got to PerkinElmer, we had maybe $5 or $10 million in e-procurement or e-business. Today we do like $100 million. And the e-commerce portion of that is about 30%. So maybe $30 million a year in actual e-commerce transactions. And we want to grow that. So we have marketing teams, we have sales teams that are out trying to increase that channel, trying to drive business to that channel. But before we do that, it's incumbent upon us that we make sure that that channel is usable. And so that's what the point of this is to do those user surveys, do that usability testing, bring in the expert reviews, and really find out how we can improve the website so that once we drive traffic there, it'll stay there. So here's a picture of the product page today. Without getting into all the challenges, this is actually on the newer part of the site called the corporate site, but there are some challenges here. They wanted to be able to add to cart on this page, and you can't do that. So that's really the main reason that page is here. The bulk of this project really focuses on the cart and the adding to cart and the checkout process. So here you can see there's some links on here like when will I get this product, show me the calendar so I can pick a delivery date. You can see the calendar there, but it's not real obvious when you look at this how to find things. And so hopefully in the new UI we address that and it becomes easier to find those things. So here's an example of when will I get this product. You'll see in the user feedback that people had trouble using this, and they also had trouble using the calendar. So here's a picture of the review order page. There wasn't a lot of feedback on this page, but for completeness, it's added here. And there is a new visual mock-up for this page that is a lot easier to read. If you look at this one and look at the second half of this page, you'll see when we get to the final visual mock-up of this, it's much cleaner, the navigation looks better, and even the actual summary of what you bought on the right-hand side looks much better. So in phase one, what we did was we tried to identify the gaps and challenges by looking at the current site and using evaluation techniques. So we identified a number of user profiles and their user profile-based tasks. We looked at we did a number of surveys. We sat down with the users and did usability testing, and we brought in some experts to look at the site. So these are the four classifications or user profiles that we broke our users down into. Lab managers and purchasing agents have very different objectives when they use the site. They want to get in, they want to get out. They don't really care about content. They're all about efficiency and purchase, whereas scientists and lab technicians, they do care about the half-life of a reagent. They do care about the specification on a product. So we created different user surveys for the different groups, and we thought that we would actually get back different numbers along those lines. We really didn't. We saw that in each classification, we got about the same grades, with the exception of the scientists, who kind of marked us low. In general, we got about a C-, and the scientists were like a D+. We did see those numbers go up, though, when we got into the actual functionality of the site, whether it was adding a product to the cart, viewing the cart details, using your credit card, using a purchase order, going to checkout. Functionally, the error rate's very low, functionality is there. So these numbers you can see, we got like a B+, A- in the actual usability of the site. And that's reflected there as well. So if we look at the user feedback, what we saw is that there's sort of some shared frustrations. Again, the delivery date, the when will I get this product link, lack of clear menus, unable to find the customer care support number without leaving the page. There was no tax information on the shopping cart page. Even the promo code, adding that code, because that was one of the functional tests, was a little buggy. So those were kind of the shared frustrations. And then if you look specifically at lab managers and purchasing agents, they had some of their own concerns. Since they buy so much, they wanted the ability to delete all or empty the entire cart. That's not there today. And they also wanted the ability to purchase an item as soon as it was in stock, not just picking an arbitrary date. So that was what we did with the user portion. So then the experts came in. We had 2 software engineers and a UX developer. We took into consideration the 8 golden rules as well as professional experience. Myself and Subhash have a number of years of doing development. So we took that into consideration, and we looked at the interaction styles, direct manipulation, menu selection, form fill-in, and site navigation, and we took those things into account, and we went and assessed the site. And kind of our takeaways were that it definitely lacks consistency. If you use the newer parts of the website, the corporate or lab solution site, then come over to the shop or checkout side, you will definitely see a drop-off in the fidelity of the menus, the prompts, the help screens. Things aren't as easy to find when you go into the checkout pages. As we mentioned, stability was fine, just some of the paradigms that are used are dated, and we also found that there was some bugginess in the promo code. And getting back to consistency of the help page, or the consistency of the pages, not being able to find things readily like help screens, the calendar, and the when I get this product, those seem to be, those could be improved. And finally, on the product page, being able to actually edit the cart right there, change a quantity, add another product without actually leaving the page was something the users wanted. And the experts also felt the same, that there was no reason to leave a page just to see the contents of a cart. So we started phase 2. Now that we've done the analysis, we've sat down with the users, we've talked to the expert reviewers, and we have some information. Now we're going to take that information and develop a set of medium fidelity wireframes. So here's what they look like. This is the product page. You can see there's the mini cart. Here's the new shopping cart with a much more visually appealing calendar. It's pretty obvious. The icon looks more like a calendar. When you click on it, the calendar is larger. The right and left arrows to move between the months are much more obvious, and it has a modal functionality so that you can tell that is what you're supposed to be acting on, because the rest of the page is grayed out. And when we get to the visual mockups, I'm also going to show you that that we have one for the when will I get this product. This is the submit order page. Again, for completeness, I added this here. When we get down to visual mockups, you'll see, if you look at this page now, you can't really see the summary that well. It's not that easy to read, not that clean. And this is the mockup. So it's better than what's on there today. But when we get to the final visual, you'll see the striking, just how much cleaner it is to read this final page. So then, okay, so now we've done the wireframes based on the initial evaluation and putting the wireframes in front of the expert reviewers, in front of the users, and the feedback was positive. Folks felt like we had implemented the changes they had asked for. So now we move forward with creating the visual designs. So here's an example of the product page with the mini cart. Folks really liked this. This was exactly what they said they wanted. They didn't want to leave the page. They just wanted to be able to view the cart, add another item, see what was in there, see if maybe, because they're ordering so many things, they're not even sure yet if they added a certain part. So before they add this one, they want to just check and see. So now they can do that. The one on the left is just a basic shopping cart. The one on the right is the modal, when will I get this product? Here's the calendar. Again, you can see whether it's the when will I get this product or the calendar. You can see it's got this nice modal behavior now. The icons behind it look more like calendars. So the feedback is very nice. Users are getting what they are expecting when they click on a button. They can see the calendar come into focus. They can see the page behind it go out of focus. And here's that review order page. You can see just the way we put things on the left. There's the summary, the items that you purchased if you want details of the items you purchased, they're on the left. Who can be notified on this project is at the bottom. The place order button. Everything is nice and clean. It's all on an easy to see page. The page isn't as long as it used to be. So folks really like this new look and feel as well. Even though they didn't find a lot of problems on this page, they definitely liked this page more over the previous one. So in the final analysis, what did we do? We went in and we looked at the current website, and we sat down with users, and we sat down with expert reviewers, and we got their feedback. And from that, we developed a set of wireframes. And then we sat down again with those same users and sought their feedback. We got much less feedback the second time because we more or less got it right. And then we went and did the visual mockups, which were more high fidelity. And then we sat down with them again, and that time we had pretty much gotten everything. There was no additional feedback. In fact, there were things that we added that they didn't ask for, like the checkout of the review order page that they really liked as well. So that got us to the end of the process where we felt like we had addressed all the gaps. So that puts us at a place now where it's pretty clear that if we make these changes, if we drive the traffic to the website, people are going to be more likely to be satisfied with the experience. They're more likely to come back. Even though they use the site today a lot now because they prefer to use that over customer care, the fact that they can find things easily, the fact that they feel in control, they don't have to remember things, the consistency between the parts of the website, like the corporate and the checkout now are consistent. These things make using the site just more satisfying in general. So that being said, we put that in front of the business. They like the findings, and originally this thing was set to go live in Q1. There have been some delays. So right now, everything looks a go for Q2. So if you come back by the end of 2017, say around December, you should see these changes on the PerkinElmer website. I think I said at the beginning. If I didn't, this is my email address. Feel free to either email me or you can leave comments at the bottom of the YouTube page. So I hope I didn't speak too quickly, and I hope I was clear. Thank you all for your time, and have a good evening.